What's up, crew? Oh, I got a good one for you coming up here in a minute. A frauditor calls himself Constitution State. Uh, Dummy Kruger. Not Dummy Kruger. I'm still thinking about that video clip I got to do after a while. Jake Strange passed me a good one there about for public safety. I'm gonna play later tonight on the live stream. But Andrey Sloan though just knocks this one out the park on this reveal on the frauditor Constitution State. Let's go and get this one started up. I'm gonna leave a link to Andrey Sloan's channel in the description box. But for those of you that are interested, that's Andrey Sloan, 2 words, one great channel, and I'll have a link in the description box. He covers a lot of frauditors, and he shows criminal background, everything on them he can find, and it's a lot. Definitely a good channel to look into. Oh, let's get this party started. It's not.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
There we go. Get all the legalities out the way. All right.
Well, hello again, folks. And how is everybody out doing out there in YouTube land on this fine day that we had today? I hope everything's going really well for all of you. And I just wanted to add to that, and I wanted to make a video for you all to watch. I thought today we would discuss the criminal history of the Constitution State. Mr. Daniel, Paul, and I hope I'm not murdering this, Kokszka. From Mansfield Center, Connecticut. Now, another fraud of a supposed freedom fighter, for our constitutional rights. Who would not know a constitutional right if it smacked him right in his meth addict mouth and his friggin' broken teeth and whatever? Anyways, this 35-year-old reject has an astonishing 15 arrests already with 22 charges.
Wow.
8 of those charges are felonies. He has 6 open cases at the moment. And he has spent 5 years in the Gray Bar Hotel in the lovely state of Connecticut. Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, just another career criminal frauditor grifting on YouTube for money because his criminal history and won't allow him to get a real job where he can support himself. So go on out into your kitchen and pop you up some popcorn. Then sit back and relax while we take you on a little trip because we're about to board the crazy train of frauding. Accountable for everything that he's done. It's their fault. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what he has done. Again, I'm going to skip.
Oh, to all the fathers out there. What would you think if your daughter brought this home for a prospective husband and or boyfriend? What would your response be? I think mom would be get a shovel.
Vehicle and traffic on this guy because I don't want this video to be 35 minutes long like the last one. So in February of 2009, he was charged with possession of narcotics, a felony. He was found guilty, but there was no disposition given. I found that kind of strange, but all it said was guilty and then nothing. Not even sentenced or anything. So if anybody wants to write to the Connecticut court and ask them about that case, please do. And then we're going to go ahead to April 30th, 2011. He picks up 2 charges, interfering with an officer or resisting, and disorderly conduct. He pled guilty to both cases, and he walked out of court $230 less in his pocket. Plus, he had to pay court costs. Court costs weren't listed there, so I didn't know how much they were. We go ahead a couple months. At the end of May 2011, he picked up a possession of narcotics, a felony charge. He was found guilty, given 2 years in jail, suspended, and 2 years of probation. He didn't make it. On March 15th, 2012, he was picked up for possession of narcotics, a felony, in Willimantic, Connecticut. He was found guilty. He was given 3 years probation. They ended up revoking that probation on July 14th, 2015 for a violation, and they sentenced him to 2 years in jail, concurrent with the other sentence that I'm about to read to you up here. And on June 7th, 2012, he got in trouble. He got a violation of probation, a felony. He was found guilty, given 1 year in jail and 2 years probation and a fine that they did not list. And he got 12 months in the Connecticut Department of Corrections at the New London Community Corrections Facility. Now we go ahead to 9/16/14. He's picked up on two more charges. One of them is going to be sale of a hallucinogenic, a narcotic. That was a felony out of Willimantic. And then he was charged with sale of a controlled substance, a felony. And then, hang on. This gets confusing, but it's not. He's found guilty on July 14th, 2015. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison, with 4 of those years suspended. All right. So, in other words, he had to do 3 years in prison, and it was done to run concurrent with the below sentence and 5 years probation. And the below sentence that he got on June 30th, 2015 was 5 years and 4 months in state prison. So this here is what sent him to state prison. Let's see if I can find a couple. There's his mugshot right here. Shows you that's him in 2018.
Oh, what an ugly mug. Oh, and I don't know, bro. That's a lot of jail time. I had trouble doing the mental gymnastics, jumping through the hoops on that one, on how much actual prison time he wound up with. But hey, I say he needed more. That there is going to keep going out, screwing up, and going back. They just need to park him there in the damn state penitentiary for about 10 or 15 years and be done with it.
Actually, the picture says it's his mugshot from Connecticut Department of Corrections. As you can see here, we're going to pull up his disciplinary. As you can see, Daniel was a pretty good boy in prison. He didn't get in much trouble at all. I would say his first year in, since he got sentenced on June 30th, 2015, Christmas Day, he got drunk and got in a fight. It says right here he was intoxication. They put him in punitive segregation for 7 days, loss of recreation for 30 days. And that's the dates that he had to serve that. Loss of commissary privileges. That's the dates he had to serve it. And then we got loss of rec. And then for his fighting misbehavior, or whatever they call it, disciplinary, let's see, he got 7 days in seg. He got loss of recreation, loss of commissary, and loss of rec. So it looks like he, loss of our rec, whatever that is. Anyhow, so he did a few days in punitive segregation in the hole. And, he did 60 days loss of rec and 60 days loss of commissary. So, not really any real big deal. But he did get in trouble a little bit while he was in prison. So that's going to bring us current on all charges right there. And then this is where he went to prison. A couple of these charges, like the violation of probation, not the violation of probation, the one below it, that possession of narcotics. I mean, they gave him probation, and probation just doesn't seem to work with this guy. I mean, he just keeps getting in trouble and more and more. So let's go ahead. That was 9/16/14 on 6/3/15 before he went to jail.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but interfering with the officer, you got 2 charges on it, and they were suspended. What the hell? If you interfere with the officer, he should have got automatic jail time on each count, at least. And they just too quick to want to dismiss charges for somebody like that interfering, obstructing, resisting a police officer, and they just get a little slap on the wrist and don't do that again.
He picked up a failure to appear charge, a felony, and he was given 2 years in jail, and that was to run concurrent or at the same time as the 5 years in prison for the other charges. And then it's going to be 7 years before he gets in trouble again, and that was on 7/23/22. He picked a charge of creating a public disturbance in Norwich, Connecticut. He failed to appear on that charge. And if you look above on 1/26/23, he was picked up on that charge for failure to respond to an infraction out of Norwich. And they've got a case number here, but there's nothing more listed after the case number. So at least they picked him up on that failure to appear, which surprises me. He's got so many other charges that they don't just lock this guy up and hold him until he actually goes to court. But it is Connecticut. So, all right, we're going to go ahead to 10/21/22. We've got a charge of interference with an officer, misdemeanor. We got breach of the peace, second degree, which is misdemeanor. And we have criminal trespass in the first degree, which is a misdemeanor. And he is still waiting almost 2 years later. He is on the trial list. They are waiting to schedule these charges or try these charges. I'm sorry. This is from the one where he was in the police parking lot or parking garage, of the New Britain, Connecticut Police Department. He still has not completed that case yet, which really, like I said, he's got 6 open charges. So don't be surprised by any of this that's going on. All right. So just a couple months later, he picked up a charge of interference with an officer. And surprisingly, he pled guilty right away because he got a plea deal. And that plea deal was 11 months in jail, suspended for 18 months. But you know how he goes. He can't stay out of trouble. And so he actually started a violation started on 10/23/23 for picking up a new charge up on top there that I'll show you in a minute. Then on, of course, 1/26/23, we talked about that charge with the one down below. So then if you go above on 7/3/23, he picked up 2 more charges: interference with an officer, which was a misdemeanor, and interference with a search, which was also a misdemeanor. He immediately pled guilty to those charges. 11 months in jail, suspended for 18 months. But he picked up that violation on 10/23 for violating the conditional discharge. His next court date on that charge is coming up this week. Actually, it's tomorrow on Monday on 8/27/24. Now we go ahead to 9/4/23. It's almost like every couple of months he's getting in trouble here. We've got interference with an officer, a misdemeanor. We've got another breach of peace, second degree. Both of those are misdemeanors. He's got a court date on 8/27/24, again tomorrow, which is going to be a pre-trial court date. So hopefully they'll get some trials set up here, and old Daniel here can start to pay the price for some of these things that he's been doing. So we go ahead to 10/23/23, where he picked up the new violation on all these charges, and he got picked up for interference with an officer, and he got picked up for violating conditional discharge, and he has a court date tomorrow for that. And that is a pre-trial court date, because these charges are also almost a year old now. And he's been playing a game, that's for sure, with the system to stay out of jail and stay out of trouble. I got a feeling he might know he's going to do some time on these. I mean, he's got 6 open charges all within a year. You would think they would whack him a little bit anyways. And then we go ahead, and this scraggly looking missing teeth reject, he has 2 civil cases. One of them is from Capital One Bank. That was back in 2011. They were looking for their $1,239, and that judgment went for the plaintiff. So I don't know if Daniel ever paid that or not. I didn't see any more lawsuits, so he must have paid it off or something. And then in 2020, Crimson Street took Daniel Kokszka to court for custody of a child. Must be they had a child together, and custody and visitation was set per the judge. Of course, family cases, I can't get into the files anymore, so I can't tell you what the actual happened there was. So we got Daniel Paul Kokszka, born in August of 1989. He's from Mansfield Center, Connecticut. Yeah, like I said, he's a scraggly looking, missing teeth. He's something, all right. And there's a neat couple of email addresses for him. I have to block those out because I don't want to get my channel get a privacy strike or anything like that. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why I call the Constitution State Mr. Daniel Paul Kokszka a fraud. He's no independent journalist. He doesn't tell the truth and tell all his supporters about his long criminal history.
He's a criminal, and he just hadn't got caught up with good yet. Hey, I'll make a bet. The last day he spent on this earth, it'll be in a penitentiary somewhere.
He's not holding the police accountable for anything. No, he harasses them, he agitates them, and he attempts to bully them, all for a better video that will get more clicks and views and likes, which tally into more money for Daniel Kokszka. Now, Daniel wants the police to be subservient to him. He says so in his YouTube bio, or when you click the little more button there, it'll tell more about the channel. And he says right in there, our public servants have taken this public servant role and tried to twist it up into some hero role. Like what, Daniel? Stopping you from driving without a valid license? Stopping you from speeding? Stopping you from possessing and selling drugs? From stopping you from, creating public disturbances? Stopping you from violating your probation? Stopping you from interfering with officers? Or is it just that you want the police to leave you alone so you can do whatever it is you want to do and break any law that you want? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Well, the vast majority, I should actually say, of Americans want law and order, not anarchy and chaos like you do. So what do you think, folks? Let me know in the comments down below what you all think of the Constitution State's videos. Is he videotaping the police to hold them?
Yep, It's Andrey Sloan, y'all. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description box. Hope you'll go check him out. Good channel. And you see the Constitution State. He's a criminal. He's just straight up. He's a criminal. Ain't another one of those police are bad, but don't look at me. Hey, I'm gonna try not to get myself in trouble with YouTube. Leave a like, hit that like, share, subscribe button, smash that bell, get notifications, leave a comment. I like reading comments, and I'm fixing to get where I say something I shouldn't. But I guess the least I can say is garbage. I look at him and I think of garbage. Y'all have a good one, and we'll see